Thank you, Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to welcome our fellow students from Kabaini Secondary School in Mwingi West constituency, a school which is really doing exceptionally very well nationally. And it's a school actually I bought the ambassador very recently using the CDF money. I recognize them and I encourage them to work very hard so that they can replace me in this floor or do other professional work that is going to help the world. With those few remarks, I welcome them and I'm very happy to see them in the chamber. Thank you.
Fair enough. Honorable Minister, could you proceed and answer the question of Honorable Omokai?
Yes,
actually, the question is just one. Would you be willing to go and visit there?
I think the reason why the Honorable Speaker is asking that I visit is I want to say that first and foremost, I have admitted through my report, page 5, that there has been a delay. I am not in dispute of that. There has been a delay, and I've stated the reasons why the delay has occurred. So even assuming I could agree to go, then the delay, the reasons the delay that occasioned the delay are there. Some of them have not yet been resolved, including payments that have been delayed to the contractor. And therefore, I want to agree that as soon as we are able to deal with some of this, then it is important that we visit the site. Otherwise, sometimes the visit may not be of much use unless we deal with the real issues. So then the other question of the girl, you have indicated the loss injury, severe injury to another person, a young lady. I think that was not brought to my attention. The honorable member could also write to me so that we can have that captured in our records against this project. Yes, we will, maybe time allowing, we'll want to visit the project. All projects are our projects and we visit them. And I hope that I can be able to create time for this particular one.
The MP for Mandera East.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, I would like to thank my colleague for raising this question. For your information, I'm the area member of parliament. And this project is extremely very important to the people of Mandera town. It only affects Mandera town, not outside Mandera town and Mandera county. It is going to benefit more than 200,000 families. This project has been going on, I think, for the last 4 or 5 years. Unfortunately, there are issues you cannot avoid, like security, floodings, and extra jobs that normally arise. Most of these jobs are carried by experts from other parts of the country, not locals from Mandera County. And you know the security problems that are there. Sometimes they run away, all of them, and the job cannot continue without them. That has really affected several times. Floods, sometimes when there are floods, because there is a river Dawa, they cannot continue, they have to stop. And there are extra jobs that normally arise outside the agreement, and they have to do it. And there are claims that normally arise from those extra jobs. So the delays are always expected, especially in Mandera, where are the security issues, flooding issues, and the extra jobs that are there, the delays are expected. I'm sure the sea has been a performer. They have done their part. But there are issues like that normally arise and they are expected.
Point,
now,
ask your question.
The companies that do that job, one is a Chinese and one is a Kenyan company. The Kenyan company that undertakes the water supply is a company that has done mega jobs, I think mega projects including Mamangina Drive in Mombasa. Unfortunately, there are always variations, and there are claims that have been applied. So my question here.
Order, Honorable Waitan. Order, Honorable Malkhair. Honorable Waitan, you have had enough time to give order. Ask a question. Yes.
Madam CS, what assurance are you giving this Honorable House to make sure that you pay the contractors to go back and resume their duties? Because right now, it is not true that they are not on site. They are there, but the job is stalled. Number two, what plans do you have to compensate the families that are affected because of the deceased? You know, there are families that have been affected. There are deaths that has occurred. What assurance are you giving that you are going?
You have made your point, Honorable Waitan. Yes, Honorable Makilap, what is your point of order? Oh, Honorable Kamket. What's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, the debates in this House or questions are not supposed to be adversarial. And Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of the new honorable members, I think, would I be in order, Mr. Speaker, to you ask them to address their issues to the chair and not directly to the cabinet secretary?
Order, honorable members, you've heard it. When a question is brought to the floor of the House, it's the property of the House. It does not affect any two individuals. So I thought you were complimenting one another, but if it's the other way around, then I'm afraid the House would not allow a diatribe between two members of Parliament. Yes, the Honorable Muri wanted to ask a question too. I'll take a few more supplementary questions. And the MP for Buri next.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Allow me to ask the Cabinet Secretary for Water, Irrigation and Sanitation on the appointment of the board.
Order, Honorable Wakili Muri. The tradition is very, very express. There is a substantive question that needs to be addressed. Once sufficient attention is given to that substantive question is when you bring any other questions that you might think for this. So if you're asking a supplementary question or an additional question on the matter that is in the substantive order paper, then we proceed. If not, then let her answer that, then you will have your own moment or shot at it.
Much guided, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Minister, you can now proceed and ask the questions that were asked by both the Honorable Questioner and also the other member.
My response in page 5 recognizes that some of the reasons for delay was security issue. Because at the time we were doing this, there were serious issues just around the time the Cuban doctors were abducted in Madeira town. And so it caused insecurity challenges to have the project then stalled to 2020, until November 2020. I want to assure you that this project is very key to the ministry. We have invested money in it, and we will not stop until the project is completed. But you know that I also rely on funding from this House, and we are working to ensure that there is sufficient funding to complete the project. If you look at the overall, it's at 73. Considering the total amounts of this project, about 2.5 or 2.3 billion shillings, I believe that we've done well despite those challenges, and I therefore want to assure you that the project will be completed. It is true, it is serving a very key area in terms of water scarcity. We need to have it completed. It's one of our answers for water in Mandera County. Thank you very much.
Minister, there are two pertinent central questions. One is, when will the contractor be on the ground? And when are you going to pay the outstanding contractor's bills to enable the contractor to complete the job? We have given us a date for completion. Your outer limit in terms of completion.
I had given a date for completion, Mr. Speaker.
Completion, yes, you gave it at the end of this year.
Yes.
The contractor has until the end of this year.
Yes.
But then you also mentioned the fact that there are problems with payment, non-payment. And there are outstanding bills.
I have been advised that we may not be having any major outstanding payments. I know they were there before, but I would say that if there are any and we have money, we will release the money immediately.
And the
Yes.
contractor is
The
not on the ground.
contractor is
The
on
contractors actually too.
they are on the ground, it's just that they are not doing the work.
Okay.
But they want, you know, those challenges that we have given there, including the PAP, we have had to redesign again because one of the major people there in terms of ranch, number 17, declined. It really brought problems for a long time, and we had to use a different route and therefore a new design. So some of the challenges are actually community-driven in a way. Let me not say community because it was an individual. So that, but we have overcome that. We should be able to complete the project as indicated there.
The two Kenyans, in one case, the impression I get is that in every contract like that, there's an insurance on that, and maybe the insurance bears the responsibility for that.
Yeah,
but there's a young lady who is not accounted for in here who is paralyzed.
I'm not aware of that. I had asked the honorable member to maybe give me send a letter to me, then I would forward it to the agency.
Excellent.
And it will reach the contractor.
Excellent. Honorable Wakil. Point of order. What's the point of order? Honorable Waitan.
Yes.
I think this has been
It's just a short intervention. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the time given, and now there are some differences and some variations that are supposed to be solved. There are claims. The time given from here to December, is it going to be possible?
Order. Honorable Member for Mandera East, this is in your constituency. It's also in the constituency of the gracious lady out there because she represents the entire Mandera County. Would it not be fair for the two of you to sit somewhere and write a letter? Yes, write a letter to the minister, and you're literally putting these things in the same direction. So what you need to do is that you iron out those things with the minister. She's willing to. He's a former colleague here. Yes, the Honorable Majority Leader.
Speak on a point of order, because, you know, I've struggled, just like you're struggling, to listen to Honorable Hussein, the member for Mandera East, and the question that was brought by the member for Mandera County, Honorable Mulher Kasim. And if you listen to what the Honorable member for Mandera East is saying, he's basically speaking for the contractor, and even alleging that their payments are pending. And when I listen to the CS says there is nothing substantial. And, you know, I was just wondering if the member, this project is in Mandera East constituency represented by the Honorable Hussein. Should you be speaking for the contractor or for the people of Mandera East?
Order, majority leader, order. You're out of order. You're out of order. They're speaking about the facts on the ground. What is out of order here, Honorable Majority Leader?
Getting there. I was getting there.
With a lot of respect.
It's only that you cut me short, Honorable Speaker. I was getting there. Because the member for the constituency should be speaking for them, for the constituency.
They're both done that.
Our own standing orders, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
If you have any interest, even in a project like this, the member for Mandera East cannot use this platform, a question raised by the county member of parliament, to speak for the contractor. If he has an interest, he must declare interest.
Order.
Because when I listen to the CS is asserting that there are no substantial pending bills that are there. And there are issues that the CS has pointed out that have delayed this project. Maybe I would ask the member for Mandera East if he has any fiduciary interest to declare it in line with our own standing orders.
Order, Honorable Waitan. What's your point of order?
I think it is extremely wrong for the majority leader to talk about something that he doesn't know at all, green about it. You know, the contract, I have followed this thing to the end when I came in as a member of parliament. I have known where the problem is. The contractors, some of them come from...
Order, Honorable Majority Leader, order. Honorable Mulkhair, we are past this situation now. The very simple question is, the chair has already given you a direction. Proceed, sit together, go through these things, approach this very able minister, and get your business done. You both are looking for a very good sewage system that works. You both are looking for your own people who have had an unfortunate accident there to be taken good care of. So proceed on the basis of that. And you've been given already the direction. Beyond that, I am not going to allow the two of you to have, a back and forth here. Honorable Murillo, proceed. Order, Honorable Mulkhair, order. I think this we have dealt with this adequately. Proceed, Honorable Murillo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is a preliminary question. The first question which I'd like to ask Honorable Cabinet Secretary in charge of water, sanitation and irrigation is whether she is aware about the illegal appointment of the Board of Directors in Adi Water. Section 66 of the Water Act 2016 provides that the members of the board and the chairman must come from the water basin. But Mr. Speaker, sir, what you find is that the appointed board members, some come from Nyanza, others come from Eastern, others come from Western, and those, even the ones that have been appointed without consultation of the leaders within the region. The basin is Murang'a, Kiambu, and part of Nairobi. And therefore, I just want to ask the CS whether she knows about the illegal appointment of those board of directors. When are they going to rectify those appointments so at least to comply with the regulations, regulation 1, sub-regulation 2, whereby those directors are supposed to be appointed competitively with the consultation of the local leaders. The second question, Mr. Speaker, is the Cabinet Secretary aware that 1.1 billion budgeted for Adi Water to take care of the water installation in Murang'a, in Kiambu, and part of Nairobi was diverted out of that budget? And if she's aware, what is she doing about it? Because the projects have stalled.
You have done 2 questions, and that is more than you're allowed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The MP for Buri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know whether to listen on the point of order, but because...
are you on a point of order? You want to ask a question?
I'm on point of order first, and then ask a question.
No, you...
Once a member issues...
I thought I gave you an opportunity to ask a question because you appear on the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ask the question.
I want to ask Madam... First, I want to thank Madam CS. This is a supplementary question in relation to the ongoing dams that your ministry is doing, and this one is specifically Kaurula Dam, which is Kaulula is situated in Mbori, but this dam was proposed and recommended by people of Laikipia East. This area belongs to Meru, Bori constituency, and therefore ask, are you aware that Kaulula area is in Bori, Meru County, and therefore if this dam was to be done, I would like you to commit that 60% of the water comes to Meru, Bori constituency, and the 60% go to Laikipia East. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
That's 120%. How do you get 120%? Order, Honorable Member for Bori. You said 60% and 60%. You add those two together, it's 120%. Okay, proceed and make your correction.
I said 40%. Okay. To Meru.
You meant?
Because I want to be a good neighbor.
Okay.
I don't want to be the other side because the Laikipia people they rely from my constituency with water. So I want to be a generous person.
The MP for Kwanza, you still want to ask a question?
Mr. Speaker, I'm waiting to ask my question when the MP...
Fair enough. The MP from Turkana, who is that? I can't see you. That's who.
When Ojad actually comes, so...
Proceed. The MP for Turkana East. Proceed and ask question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Nicholas Nkoro, MP Turkana East, Turkana County. And I just want to ask the CS Water to give the status report of low water dam in Turkana East constituency, which it has been overdue since 07 to date. It has been in the government report on the implementation of dams, but to date, its implementation, it has not seen the light of the day. Can the CS give the status report of that dam, low water dam?
Honorable Adam, proceed. Who is on a point of order?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mine is about Sabor Water Project, where the initial project was to construct Sabor Dam to provide water to Iten town, which is in my constituency, and its environs. Instead, Mr. Speaker, the dam was not constructed, but only a weir, a small thing that collects water was constructed, leaving our town to constant water rationing. Iten town currently doesn't have even a sewer line, courtesy of that problem. My question is, where did the money meant for the dam and the sewer line go, and why? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, the Honorable Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, you know it must be a house that sticks to our own rules and procedures, and I rise on standing on number 91 on responsibility for statement of fact on the supplementary question that was raised by the member for Gatanga.
Proceed,
and he alleged that the appointment of board members have contravened Section 66 of the Water Act. Honorable Speaker, it's only fair to the minister.
Why don't you allow a minister who is one of the finest legal minds we have in this country to answer that?
Honorable Speaker, if you indulge me for a minute, I prosecute my matter, then you make a decision. You are the Speaker.
Oh, proceed.
Because mine, I'm rising on procedure, not to answer the question on behalf of the minister. That the member alleged that there is illegality, but that illegality must be exhibited, because it's also not fair to ambush ministers when they appear in the House on heavy statements like illegalities and contravening the law. Because if the minister confirms that she has indeed contravened the law, on record here, on the assertion by the member for Gatanga, then we are telling the minister that she ought not to be in office if she's contravening the law. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I wanted the member, in line with our own standing orders, when you allege that the law has been contravened, you bear the responsibility in line with Standing Order 91 to show which particular members of what particular boards have contravened the law and how they have contravened. You cannot allege because my name is Kimani Ishongwa Anthony and I hail from Kikuyu, I cannot serve in Lake Victoria Water Basin. I might have been born and grown up in Kisumu.
Honorable Majority Leader, you made your point. Order, Honorable Majority Leader. The chair recognized that. And the chair is going to do its function very well. Wait until the matter is addressed by the minister. In which case, of course, a ruling will be made on the same. It's not that I did not take note of the fact that you can say that an illegality is committed because somebody from another part of the country, without consultation with the local community. You don't consult any local community when you're appointed. Order. But why do you want to have a back and forth, Mr. Honorable Muri? Allow the chair and the minister to do their job. Honorable Majority Leader, proceed, Honorable Minister, and answer those questions. As to the issue of his Honorable Muriu Wakili, he is my good friend, and we serve on the same committee together, JLAC. But
Yes.
clearly, the government does not do any illegality. So you have the choice to answer that or not.
Thank you for
That question
guidance.
was out of order. I noticed.
That question is very prejudicial, Your Honorable Speaker. I wanted to go straight to the question raised about Kahorora Dam by Honorable Dikiri. Honorable Dikiri wants a share of the water that may be developed through Kahorora Dam that is associated more with the Nanyuki, Laikipia County. This is one of the dams that actually are priority dams. I believe the honorable member knows that we are working on it because we want to have investors interested in this dam develop the water. And his concern is whether, as it has happened before in other areas, whether Bore, that is hosting either part of this dam or hosting the dam, shall be a beneficiary. Yes, I had said earlier, policy now is that the host community of a dam must be taken into account and consideration will be done. Sabot, we did not have this dam in the 33 that we called for interest, but we will see depending on I'm not sure I'm quite up to date on the costing of this dam, but this dam, if it is 5 billion and below, we have another category that we are looking at for 5 billion and below, other than the mega dams that are taking 10 to 30 billion, that will also be given priority. So I will look into this and take into account that particular concern. I think, Moreu, other than the question of Section 66, you had a question on budget. I'm sure you may not be aware that though there was a problem regarding that specific budget, it was addressed by National Treasury and electrification was done. And short of exchequer, I believe this money, by way of documentation, including a letter from CS Treasury, confirmed that a reverse was done or electrification was done. MP4 Kwanza, I have answered your question. I think, Honorable Speaker, those, unless I choose not to respond to the question on asked by Moreu on the board, and any concern that may arise or will arise will be addressed legally. Thank you very much. Then,
what about the honorable member for Turkana East?
Turkana East, he was talking of Lowat. Lowat is one of the 33 dams. It's part of the dams that we have called for expression of interest, and there are people interested in constructing Lowat. We are now at the stage of project development, and this is public-private partnership. So we hope that there will be a good project presented. In the next 2-3 months, we'll be working on those project development, the proposals, and it's one of them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Fair enough.
Thank you very much for the time.
We'll go to the next question. The Honorable Member of Parliament for Bondo constituency, Gideon Achanda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have taken a number of hours looking for water. I don't know whether you can take the cool amount of hours doing away with water. My question is to do away with water. Mr. Speaker, I raised a question to the Cabinet Secretary to provide details on the state of land reclamation works on the Yala swamp, and to indicate, and for her to indicate the timelines within which the Yala swamp reclamation will begin and the expected completion dates.
Minister.
when I saw this question, Honorable Speaker, I was not able to discern immediately whether this question regarding that particular area should be, this is question number 8 on my list, yeah, question number 337. I felt that this question is for Lake Victoria Basin, because that region is also under Lake Victoria Basin, and Lake Victoria Development is under ASAL, is under East Africa Community Regional Development and ASALs. Therefore, I may be not the one directly in charge, but in respect of where I know we also have some work there, and we have land reclamation project within us in my ministry. I would have to give the member a response in that regard, because I still think my team's response was that this is not in my docket, but I will look at it again in respect of the land reclamation department in my ministry. So I beg to give an answer at a later date. And I can send it to the honorable member for Bondo.
Fair enough. Honorable Ochanda, you have an undertaking by the minister. Once the determination is made on what falls within her docket and what falls within the other authority, then she's able to answer you as well. Proceed. You want to?
Thanks a lot, Mr. Speaker. I think I really appreciate that effort. Reclamation is basically under her ministry. Okay. And if at all there was a mix-up, I think that mix-up might have not been looked at appropriately. We may need time, I follow it up, because the reclamation efforts that I'm talking about here, Madam CS, are efforts that were started before our independence. And so far, very little has happened and very many people are affected. The first efforts displaced people. Those people have never gone anywhere, have never had land. And if at all we are doing any reclamation efforts, this is the time that I thought that this community, the house was needed to be looked at. We'll follow it up with the CS, Mr. Speaker.
Fair enough. Honorable, yeah, okay. Honorable MP for Kwanza, if you're going to have a follow-up question on the matter, this question which has already been...
Yeah, I was waiting, and I think he has made it very clear. This is a move of the Ministry of Agriculture, and I think the drainage is something else. But overall, Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Minister. She has done a very good, because she was one of us here, she has done a very good job. However, I want to take this opportunity to ask her, as the Minister for Irrigation, that this country should, even if it means taking our technologies or whatever to other countries like Israel, to do something about irrigation, because you can see, Mr. Speaker, we are even importing food from Egypt, which has got only one river. And yet, Kenya, for example, the Lake Victoria Basin, where I worked as an MD, has 8 rivers. So irrigation is very important, given, Mr. Speaker, that this country is experiencing the climatic change, short of rainfalls. So I'm asking that the minister